I have heard a rumor that these deck lids are common to sedans, 4-doors, and hardtop. So today we're going to test that theory because we have the 4-door around the corner. This deck lid pretty much sucks because it's got rust in both corners. This one is a nice deck lid, but it is dented. There are dents both here and here on the deck lid, and the bad thing is on these Galaxie deck lids, or trunk lids if you want to call it a trunk lid, the underside there is no opening to get into the back side of these to go in and do a repair, so this will have to probably be done with a stud kit that you can get from like Harbor Freight. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we pull both of these off and see if this one will fit. But in my opinion, this deck lid has to go to be replaced with that deck lid. So today we're going to do our little test and find out if this deck lid will in fact interchange with the 4-door deck lid. If it does, that's a boon for me. If it doesn't, I got some rust repair to do.
Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Auto.Krafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxie, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today.
Also, there is absolutely no rust on this deck lid. This deck lid is original to this car, but you know what? I bought this as a parts car to be working on that car. I don't want to fix any more rust than I have to. I would rather work dents than actually fix rust. If this doesn't fit, which it may not, then we'll be, you know. All right, somebody has kindly gone in and removed the 2 top bolts on the deck lid support. Ford painted these with the deck lid on the car. I'm pretty sure it's always when you go in and look at these, they make their adjustments and then they paint the car, because you can see that the bolts are all the same color as the deck lid. A nice little tidbit for you if you're doing a concours type restoration on a 63 Galaxie. The danger of what I'm doing right now is that deck lid can walk and bust glass if you're not careful. Sometimes even if you are. Now on this car, I'm not as worried about that panel between the back glass and the inside of the deck here, deck lid here. On this one, oh, this thing weighs as much as a, oh man. Oh. I can pretty much walk it out, I hope. Let's see. This is, I'm sure, really good for my back. To the red car. Here we go. Don't take your time, it's resting on my head. Okay, let's go up and over and out toward the mech shed. Beep, beep. Your cup has run over. Now for the big one. By the way, this thing here, this is your latch. And I could have sworn that this was beat up and wrong, like somebody had cut it. But in fact, that's factory stuff right there. Right there. Monkey trick number 1. Don't step on your coffee cup. Oh, he stepped on his coffee cup. Now Logan is going to be very upset. This is a lot harder than the removal. A lot of times I will just start whatever's close by and handy. The top one started.
Still like to start at all.
Yeah. I got mine started. Oh, yeah. Now I am not working for an actual fit here. I just want to see if the deck lid is going to close. And by the way, I measured them before. I know it'll close, but we have to have a little drama in the show, don't we? Don't we? It won't close with that in there. All right, we'd have to move it around a little bit, but as you can see, the deck lid fits. So now we have a better deck lid that we can work on taking the dents. And if you want to see me do a rust repair on the other deck lid, trunk lid, I can do that. I don't want to do that, but I will do that because you people ask me to. So rust repair can be done on the other one. I will not keep it because it's a junk lid, but we will definitely go in and show you how to do the repairs on these places here on this deck lid to make that out a little bit better so that we can fill it and make it nice again. Now what I would do on these is I would go in and I'm going to pick the trim that is in the best shape between the two of them. This one's not too bad. It's got some dents along the bottom edge, but I think it would probably clean out okay. I'm going to take the one off the other deck lid to see if it's in any better shape and also see if I can hold on to any of the clips that are on it, because we do have broken clips down here on this end. Oddly enough, both deck lids have the same problem. The ones down on the far end seem to be the ones that bust the most. So what I'm probably going to end up doing with this, I'm going to replace it with the one that the guys at Autocrafters sells. We'll go in and put the new ends on and a new center, because almost every one of these I've ever seen is pretty nasty. But I'm still going to show you what this stuff does. Product's called Autosol. I don't got a dime in this company. I don't know. They just didn't give this to me. I bought it. So basically, this stuff is made in Germany. You know those Germans, they make good stuff. You have to know the old ad to understand what I'm doing with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what this stuff can do if you do manage to have a miracle of miracles, one of these trim pieces that's in decent shape. You just go in and you work it. Like, the problem with this trim on most of these Galaxies is that the trim gets scratches from rings and things. People putting stuff inside the back of the car really makes a mess. So it's kind of hard to find one that's in decent shape. And what will end up being the case on a lot of this stuff too is that because it's anodized, it will have a mottled effect. But you can see just that little bit of scrub and how nice that looks. Now there is modeling in this. And what I mean by that is you can see some discoloration in the anodizing on the trim. Honestly, one thing that I've done that seems to work pretty well is to use Gibbs oil to keep that decent looking. The Gibbs oil product seems to hold up for probably about a month or so, and it'll keep this nice. Otherwise, it's just going to model back up again and look like what you've got going on either side of it. New part available, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so folks, that's this show for this week. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about is Patreon. Patreon is a great way for you to support us and tell us that, hey, I'm getting a consistent monthly thing out of this. And if you can only afford to do $1 or $2, that's fine. We're not worried about it. It's just a nice way for you to say thank you to what we do. We do have guys that are supporting us on a much larger level. Guys like Pat Lee, he is putting a lot of money into our show, and we super appreciate what he's doing. This money doesn't go to me. This goes to pay Darren to show him that this is the way things go. You have to have money to pay people. And so he makes more money the more money that we put into this, because you're putting more money in it to help me support him and give him a nice job to do something that he's really, really good at, in my opinion. So do that for me. And also check out Super Thanks. We did have our first 2 cents. Because the lowest amount you can put in is $1, we found out, because this guy, I don't remember his name, he's down here below me. This guy right here, he gave us his 2 cents worth in $1. Raphael, thank you, off camera. Darren speaks up and remembers things that this 60-year-old brain can't even remember. So Raphael did a deed there, and he told us that it was his 2 cents worth, and I don't know if that's a good thing, if Raphael was trying to be funny, or if he was just deadly serious that we sucked that bad. Either way, I got $1 out of it. Do me a favor, folks, be kind to each other, love each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on down the road. That went, surprisingly, a ton better than I thought it would. I figured we'd be out here till after lunch, all day, trying to get that deck lid to line up. This car likes me. I can't say the same thing for the Suburban that's in the background that's in the first shot. That one hates me. It really does hate me. I'm gonna come to right here. Right there. Hey, Darren.